Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching The Big Bang Theory. This is the 6th episode of the 4th season. I was going to say 2nd. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in a link in the description below. Just click it, put a password in, and enjoy. So last episode, it was interesting. We had no Penny, but we had a small bit of Raj, who actually mentioned to us that he's potentially got a girlfriend who's deaf, which I would love to see in later episodes. But we focused back in on Amy and Sheldon and Bernadette and Howard. And basically it was Leonard trying to acquire a date. He was saying that he's kind of upset that he's the only one of the group that's not actually got a female counterpart, and he's feeling like left out. And he basically asked Howard to enact, their part, so that if one person gets in the relationship, they'll use the other female to get one of their friends to go out together. And he did. Now, the date wasn't actually going well. He said it was the worst date of his life, to be honest. But when he was offered the chance of possibly having sex with her next week at one of her family's weddings, he decided to stay on course and stick the date out, which is really interesting. And obviously, all episode, basically Sheldon was trying to dodge Amy because she asked him to meet her mother, which then obviously Amy said sent alarm bells. Basically he's screwed. He was thinking we're no longer girl/boyfriends, we're actually girl and boyfriends. Now, interestingly, she was saying that she's only doing it to tick a box from her mum to prove that she's in a relationship, so she gets off her back. And he had an interesting engagement on FaceTime, towards the end of the episode, where basically he was saying that he makes love to her all the time. And, it was nice meeting her, but they've got to go and do it again before shutting the laptop. And like I said, Sheldon's just like a big kid. He has no boundaries. He doesn't really know what he's saying. Doesn't really know if he's offending people, saying stuff that he shouldn't be saying. But that's his best part of his character, because you never know what he's going to do, and he's unpredictable. But thanks for checking out today's episode. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please smash a like. Really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, let's jump into today's episode.
Oh, this is the worst cobbler I've ever eaten. It tastes like it's made of actual ground-up shoemaker.
A play on the two meanings of cobbler.
Guess who I found at LAX? My baby sister Priya.
Excuse me, I object. You propose a guessing game, yet you don't give me enough time to guess.
Priya, what brings you back to LA?
I have a one-day layover on my way to Toronto.
Priya is one of the lead attorneys for the biggest car company in India.
I want to catch up with all of you, but first, I really must visit the Louvre.
I'm going too. I'll show you where it is. Hands off my sister.
Yeah, I was going to say, Leonard could hit it
She's
off.
covered with airplane germs.
Sister's much hotter than your girlfriend, and you know it.
Let's just agree they're both hot.
But, dude, that's my sister you're talking about.
Cobbler. I'm still laughing.
It's really nice to see you again, Leonard.
So you got any special plans with your sister?
Well, not really, just hang out.
If you have only one day in Los Angeles, make it a train day.
I don't think we're gonna do that.
Well, then apparently you hate fun.
Priya's not back yet? Well, I guess that's not unusual. Women, man, the whole sitting, standing deal. So what are we talking about? My plans with Priya?
He rejected train day.
I guess he just hates fun.
That's what I said.
What's new with you guys?
I have a girlfriend now.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there in case I inadvertently squirt any pheromones in your direction.
You like trains?
Not particularly.
You might as well just wait at the airport for your flight. An iron gate blocks your way. Open gate. It's locked. Found an emulator online that lets you play classic text-based computer games from the 1980s.
He always uses his mind, doesn't he? He creates his own worlds.
North. A troll blocks your passage. Okay, fasten your seatbelts. Kill troll with sword. You don't have the sword. Good golly, it's as if it's actually happening to me.
Sheldon's still up.
Troll with
I reckon she could probably just walk past him.
troll with axe. Leonard, I'm trapped in quicksand. The axe is dragging me down.
Sheldon, you need to work in the morning.
I know.
Well, then bed, mister.
5 more minutes. Who was at the door?
Building manager. They have to fix a pipe, so the water will be off tomorrow from noon to 2.
We're supposed to be given written notice.
No, it doesn't matter. We'll be at work.
What if I spill tomato soup on my shirt and have to come home to change, only to find there's no water for an enzyme soak?
Bifurcated uvula, Sheldon.
I have the chicken noodle. Good night. I know how to get the bucket. I can turn the axe around and use the handle to reach it.
Stopped at this stream and you turned north 3 times?
Yes.
You're right. You're lost. Good luck.
Leonard, wake up.
Huh? Just sorry.
For what?
I don't know. When I'm in bed with a girl, it's my go-to response. Stay in LA a while longer.
Me too.
There are some great research facilities in India. If we were to move to New Delhi, we could, go out.
Didn't we have this conversation 5 years ago?
Well, yes, but things have changed. You're older, I'm older. Look, no more superhero bed sheets.
I could never bring a white boy home to my parents.
My great-great-grandmother was half Cherokee. I know that's not the right kind of Indian, but it is something.
I heard a woman laughing.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to see if I could laugh as a woman.
Oh, well, good job. Quite convincing. Is that lipstick on your cheek and neck?
Rash. That's a bad rash.
No stranger to the crimson scourge that is dermatitis. Can I interest you in a topical steroid from my lotion and unguent collection?
I'd love it if Raj just stood at her door.
Ointment or cream?
Cream.
With or without a numbing agent?
Without.
Really, Leonard? There are no heroes when it comes to dermatitis. Priya? For shame, Leonard. For shame. I was ready to waste the last of my good hemorrhoid cream on you.
I thought it was going to be Raj at the door, because she's not got home in time, so he's going around knocking on everyone's houses. First of all, he go to Howard's and then he come to theirs. I also feel like Penny's not going to be in the episode again, which is really interesting, actually. That would be back-to-back in this season. But sounds like these two tried to be in Leonard wanted to be in a relationship with her 5 years ago, and obviously she's only here for a kind of hookup stopover, you know what I mean? Where, he seems like he's got a bit of feelings towards her. Now, it's interesting because, Raj was so adamant that he didn't want Howard or anybody to hit on her, but I want to know how he's going to react when it's Leonard, because we don't really see Leonard and Raj together a lot, singular, you know what I mean? It's him and Howard, or it's him and Sheldon when they're at work, and it's never really those two hanging out, so it'd be interested to see how he reacts to him.
Making pretty good time, huh?
Is that really what you want to talk about, Leonard? What do you want to talk about?
Please don't tell anyone I spent the night with Raj's sister.
But they might ask me something else.
Like what?
Like, has Leonard betrayed any of his friends recently?
Didn't betray Raj.
In fact, you did, but I was referring to Howard.
Talking about?
April 12th, 2005, Raj had just introduced us to Priya for the first time. In order to preserve your friendship, you and Howard made a pinky swear that neither of you would attempt to woo her.
Okay, fine. I'm a horrible human being. I'm the Darth Vader of Pasadena.
You're far too short to be Darth Vader. You mean you want me to keep a secret?
Yes.
You know I can't keep a secret.
I know, he's shocking, isn't
Try. Think about it this way. If I were Batman and you were Alfred, you'd keep that secret, right?
Why did you get to be Batman?
What do you want?
I came to go over your alibi for last night. Asked me
That
to
laser
lie
is
on
sick.
your behalf, and as you know, I'm deeply uncomfortable with impromptu dishonesty. So I couldn't have spent last night with Priya because you were with another woman. The fun-loving and morally loose Miss Maggie McGarry.
Leonard, call me if you're interested in coitus. Sincerely, Maggie McGarry.
You've reached Maggie McGarry. Leave a message after the beep.
It's pretty convincing, huh? That wasn't even a real person.
I don't need an alibi. Nobody's going to ask about last night as long as you just zip your lip.
That's how
Hey, Leonard, will you please tell Howard my sister's never been attracted to him?
How am I supposed to know who she's attracted to, or was attracted to, or who she might be attracted to in the future?
Hey, so what did you guys think of the new episode of Capricorn last night?
I didn't see it.
Didn't see it? What were you doing?
I was out.
What, on Capricorn night? Where'd you go?
To, Lucky Baldwin's.
Oh, I've heard of that place. Isn't that Pasadena's favorite Irish watering hole? Did you meet anyone interesting there? Perhaps a promiscuous red-headed barmaid?
I can't do it.
You're sure you can. You're doing fine. It's very believable.
With Priya last night.
You're doing with Priya. I believe they engaged in coitus, but more importantly, if Leonard had not abandoned his story, would you have found it plausible?
How could you? We had a pact. Excuse me, I think how could you? She's my sister. Takes precedence over a 5-year-old pinky swear.
Your sister is a grown woman. And to her, I'm a forbidden piece of white chocolate. So would it help if I told you that I offered her my heart and she kind of stomped on it?
Okay, I'm good. I just want to say that I'd never betray your trust. Unlike Leonard, I respect you.
Was it out of respect that you didn't tell Raj about the time he dropped his iPhone in a urinal?
More amusing violation of Raj's trust is when Howard convinced him that foreigners give presents to Americans on Thanksgiving.
That was all a lie? This year's gifts are already wrapped.
About the month Sheldon spent grinding up insects and mixing them into Leonard's food.
Well, excuse me, that was not a betrayal. That was an experiment to determine at what concentration food starts tasting moldy.
I can't believe you used Sheldon's toothbrush.
You used my toothbrush?
Not the brush part, just a little rubber thing to pick food from my teeth and massage my gums.
This escalated quick. It was a good scene.
Okay, I think it's safe to say that we've all done some things we're not particularly proud of.
While we're at it, you don't have to wash our clothes on the 4th of July.
As we're apologizing, Sheldon, I'm sorry I used your toothbrush.
That behavior is beyond the pale and cannot be tolerated. We are no longer friends.
I got you a talking Thomas the Tank Engine for Thanksgiving.
With real puffing smoke?
Yes.
All right.
He loves strange, doesn't he? Right, that was a good scene actually. It was unexpected. The thing is though, right, regardless of whatever they were saying, telling him to wash the clothes on Thanksgiving, give presents, or use a toothbrush, it's nothing in comparison to sleeping with one of your friend's sisters, is it? Let's be honest. I think the gravity and the weight of that is really, really high. And I'm actually really surprised that he just accepted the fact that he said she stomped on his heart and he was like, okay, it's good, because I 100% wouldn't. I would be livid.
Hey, you got Snoopy out. Can I have a snow cone?
Well, sure.
These are pretty good. What flavor is this?
Mango caterpillar. What are you doing? Said you liked it.
To be fair though, you would actually be livid at that one. You know, if you found out that your friend was actually dipping in insects in all of your foods, or just doing anything, to be honest, you know what I mean? Like putting hair in insects, you know, putting saliva in, you know what I mean? Like Penny always talks about spitting in his burgers, but like, if that actually happened, do you know what I mean? Like, how bad is that? I actually think that putting insects and grinding stuff in, put it in people's foods and drinks and that is, like, really bad. It actually is really bad. I'd probably say it's worse than him sleeping with his sister just because of how, I don't know, to be honest. The sister one is bad, but I just think the insect one is, like, a step too far. But I wouldn't accept his apology just like that, me, to be honest. It would take a lot of time to gain a bit of trust back. And the interesting thing is, like, it was like another situation where someone engaged in him without him doing that to her. Do you know what I mean? So, like, she was the one that kissed him in this episode. Do you remember the one when they come to his apartment as well and she wanted to sleep with him? That wasn't his fault as well. He didn't engage, you know what I mean? Like, they advanced on him. Now, it's interesting that Penny's not been in 2 episodes. It's kind of evident, notice it, because the lack of female presence is kind of seen because you're so kind of used to it now. Do you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that she's back in the 7th episode. I really am. I'm hoping that it's not like a season where she dips out and just plays, you know, a recurring character and then comes back, you know, maybe because she's got other filming going on or something like that. We see that a lot of times with different characters and shows that we've watched onto the channel. But again, it's good to have another cameo into it. I like Stuart, you know, at the comic book store. He's good. He reminds me a bit of Gunther. You know, when he comes in, it's quite funny. It's just good to see a similar face all the time. And it's nice to see people dip in from the families. You know, it's the first time we've seen somebody from Raj's actually be introduced into the show. Yeah, we've seen his parents, but they're always on a laptop. I would love it if they actually come in and come to the States, you know what I mean, and spent a week or a day here or something like that. And I think a great episode would actually be if they come over and he was staying with Raj and he tried to push him to actually get a date, you know what I mean? And they even brought people around and put him on a secret website. Do you know what I mean? I think that would be a really interesting one to see how he reacts. But his sister come, she slept with Leonard. Fair play to him, he ended up telling her after, you know, Sheldon actually done a lie that actually could have worked out, couldn't it? You know, if they actually followed through with it, but he couldn't. He told him, he accepted it. Bit about it going around the table of everything that he'd done, and then he moved on, so, like, fair play. But I do think that, you know, like, insects and that in the food is a bit too far. Okay, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So, mate, we're absolutely flying to this season. I really do feel like we're getting stuck into it. I'm enjoying it. I like the introduction of all the characters. I feel like we've had a kind of guest appearance in each one, or like an additional one. So it's either had Bernadette, Amy, Sheldon's mum, or Priya here in today's episode, you know, and it's just bringing a good bit of vibes to the show, to be honest, in my personal opinion. It's nice to see, obviously, all the cast in here, but obviously the additions of everybody just makes it a little bit more interesting. And, you know, I really do love it when they do this, and I hope they continue bringing all the rest of the characters in. You know, in terms of a character that I would love to see, it would be Howard's mum, you know, before the end of the show, but I don't think we're ever going to get that. I just feel like it's going to be one of those things. I actually thought it was going to be a consistent thing with Howard's mum, with also Raj not speaking to women, and Sheldon not actually wanting to be engaging into a relationship to run the whole entirety of the show. But now, obviously, Sheldon's rocking and rolling. I feel like it may be the other two. And I feel like Raj one day will speak to a woman, so I feel like we're just going to cycle back into Howard's mum never being revealed. Now, again, you know, interesting that Penny wasn't in today's episode. We did have, obviously, the betrayal of Raj. You know, well, from Raj, you know what I mean, Leonard actually sleeping with his sister, and, you know, he nearly convinced Sheldon from it as well, saying that he was practicing his women's laugh. You know, he was saying that he's got a rash in his neck, and he was close to actually sneaking around. To be honest, he should have waited. You know, he should have engaged with Sheldon in a separate location. Do you know what I mean? So when Sheldon was in the bathroom, he should have actually gone to the door and spoken to him in there and let her sneak behind him. You know, run through the way he kind of like distracted him the first time, you know, when he was playing his game. Now, I actually think that game was pretty good, actually. You know, sitting there typing out different scenarios and things like that from games from the 80s. I would actually like to play something like that, actually. I think it'd be really interesting. All different scenarios and avenues that you can go down depending on what you type in. Now, main question is literally to you guys is in, would you be as chill as Raj in that situation? So, for example, you know, if you're obviously a male and one of your friends sleeps with your sister, or you're a female and one of your friends sleeps with your brother, would you be so okay with it by basically the reason why he's just said that he actually kind of asked her out and she said no and kind of broke his heart? Would you say that as a suffice reason to accept the apology, so to speak? Or, like, would you be, that's it, game over, and we're not friends anymore? Now, obviously, depending on the length of your friendship that you've had and how close you are actually in real life, you know, that is obviously going to play a factor on the severity of the situation. But I do feel like if it was me, I would be upset and it would take a little bit of time before I could actually, you know, engage back in them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I do think it's really interesting, and then you know, I'd be intrigued to see what everybody thinks. You know, are you okay? Do you think there's nothing wrong with it? Would you be happy for it? You know, like, both of them having a good time, or like, would you feel like that's across the line too far? You know, boundaries should be there, and you shouldn't ever actually go over it. You know what I mean? You know, everybody has different opinions, and that's why I love reading the comments, and I'd be interested to see obviously what you would do in that situation. But thanks for checking out today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.